Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you have not watched yesterday's top 10 countdown yet, please go back and watch it, especially if you're a college basketball fan. And I've got some shout outs that I'll be doing today coming up here at the end of the video, right before our dad joke. So please stay tuned for that. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about college football because since it is Thursday, week number 9 starts tonight. There's a couple of games on tap tonight and a couple of games on tap tomorrow night, and we'll talk about the Saturday games coming up in our Saturday video. Tonight we've got 4-3 Troy going up against Coastal Carolina, who of course suffered their first loss of the season last Wednesday night to the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. And we also have the South Florida Bulls, who are 2-5 on the season, going up against the East Carolina Pirates, who are 3-4 this season. And the Thursday night NFL game is probably about the best game you could ask for on a Thursday night. This is the kind of game normally you would see on Sunday night football or Monday night football, but it's going to be on TV tonight for the Thursday night NFL game. That is the Cardinals and the Packers, two teams that are off to an excellent start on the season. If you recall, the Packers lost in week 1 and just looked absolutely pitiful. But they've looked pretty good ever since then, and a lot of people think the Cardinals are the best team in football, and of course they are so far, but it does not matter as of now. We're not even quite halfway through the season yet, but the Cardinals got off to a good start last year, and then they progressively got worse as the season went on, so we'll see if that trend continues this year or not as we get later in the season. And then coming up tomorrow night in our Friday night college football, we're going to have the Navy midshipmen, who are off to a pitiful start. They're 1-6 this season. You don't see Navy be that bad very often. They're going up against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Tulsa is 3-4 on the season. And then the late night Friday night game on the West Coast is UNLV, who is 0-7 this season, going up against the Wolfpack of Nevada, who are 5-2. And as I said, we'll talk about our Saturday games coming up in our Saturday video. In case you have not heard yet, the man whose full name was Joseph Levi Dunn, but he was known in the college football world as Joe Lee Dunn. He passed away on Tuesday at the age of 75. I'm sure we'll find out in the next week or so exactly what caused his death, and it may have just been natural causes. But of course, he was a long-time defensive coordinator back in the day. He actually had one stint as a head coach back in the 80s, but he was a defensive coordinator for many programs, a lot of big-time, well-known programs like South Carolina, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Memphis. His last job as defensive coordinator was at a small school in Texas called McMurray, and that was, I believe, in 2012, and he has not coached since then. But he always stood on the sidelines, which is common nowadays. But back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, a lot of coaches set up in the booth, but Joe Lee Dunn was always on the sidelines. He never wore a headset, and he never had any kind of play sheet in his hands. He called everything on the fly with whatever came to mind, and that was something you didn't see back in those days. Now it's pretty common, and a lot of people think that Joe Lee Dunn is the inventor of the 3-3-5 defense, which is pretty common nowadays, but back in those days you didn't see it. So a lot of people give Joe Lee Dunn the credit for inventing the 3-3-5 defense. I remember when Tommy West got fired from Clemson after the 1998 season, and then a few years later he got hired at Memphis, and he hired Joe Lee Dunn to be his defensive coordinator at Memphis, and he was good back then too. So please send about some thoughts and prayers to the family of Joe Lee Dunn. He passed away on Tuesday at the age of 75. And I got to get my shout outs in. My first shout out goes to Chris, who lives in South Carolina. He is a Braves fan, so he subscribed to the channel because he is a Braves fan. And of course, he is excited as I am about the Braves being in the World Series. Of course, there'll be no game tonight. They'll head back to Atlanta for games 3, 4, and 5 coming up this weekend. My next shout out goes to my man Al, who also lives in South Carolina. He is a Clemson fan. He wanted me to tell everybody, go Tigers. And my final shout out goes out to Gary and Davina Maddox. And they have a son named Gary Maddox III who plays for East Jackson High School, which is right up the road from where I'm at. And that is the reason why I said their last name. I know normally I don't say people's last names, but I'm saying theirs only because I wanted to talk about their son. And of course, to say his name, you've got to say the mom and daddy's name. But Gary Maddox is actually a very talented high school football player. So if you live anywhere near the sound of my voice and you don't have a high school team, you just enjoy high school football like I do, or if your high school team is going to be playing East Jackson before this season is over, I encourage you to go watch Gary Maddox III. He is a great football player, so I want to send out a thank you to Gary and Davina, and a thank you to Chris, and a thank you to Al for all of y'all subscribing. And don't forget, we'll be having a giveaway when we get to 1,000 subscribers. So the quicker we get there, the quicker we will have our giveaway. And all you have to do to be eligible is subscribe and then comment. And of course, you can comment as much as you would like, but one comment is all you need to be eligible. So give the video a thumbs up, tell your friends, tell your family, and thank you again so much for subscribing. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Can someone please tell me what the lowest rank in the Army is? Every time I ask someone, they tell me it's private. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.